How do you create an interesting ability for your character, whether it's an anime, comic, or book? Sorry, I'm not British, but there are 3 things you can do to make your character's ability interesting for yourself, your book, and your reader. Well, there's actually 4. The last one's a bit of a secret, kind of optional. First is creativity. It's creating an ability that's unique or using an ability that's been used before in a unique manner. An example would be from the web series Worm, where a character named Oni leaves a teleporter. Pretty basic, however, whenever he teleports, he leaves a version of himself there for 10 seconds to finish off an attack or to distract somebody while he's teleporting somewhere else. An example of a creatively unique ability would just be something like Hisoka's bungee gum. Connecting the ability to your character. It'll always be compelling for the reader, and it's something that people can dig in while reading your story. A good example of this would be Gon from Hunter x Hunter. His ability is rock, paper, scissors because he's a very straightforward kid and he's simple. There's nothing cooler than hearing this ability really suits this character. The third one is room to grow. A good example of this would be like Luffy from One Piece. The ability itself gives room for the main character to constantly improve, and if you're giving a story that involves a lot of character growth, it's always cool to see an ability grow with your character. For example, Luffy starts off with just plain stretching, and then it turns to repeated punches, then it moves from there to blowing themselves up as like a defensive manner, as well as later on things like blood doping. The fourth, which is also a bit optional, is aesthetic. The way that you make it come across, the way that it's executed and the way it's shown in the story. An example would be Sasuke's curse mark. When it's being activated, it's spread across his body in a very aesthetically pleasing way. I do think Naruto is actually a really good example of all 4 of these things. It is a good creative ability, which is shadow clones. It kind of is a duplication effect. You can use it in multiple different ways, whether it's hand to hand, whether it's conversation, while it's playing games, whether it's tactically, and then it connects to the character because we know that the shadow clones can represent Naruto's loneliness and never feeling like he has people around him or searching for connection with people. Then we have the room to grow. It starts off with just simple duplication, but then it turns into ways of him being able to take on people who are stronger than him by giving him access to better strategies. And then later on, he's able to use it to help him create jutsus that he maybe wouldn't have been able to do in a shorter period of time. Later on after that, he's actually able to make those shadow clones do jutsus like the Rasengan and multiple other versions of that as a growth. And aesthetically, they look really cool.